One of the world's best classical recording facilities, Air Studios in London, is chosen for the recording of the London Symphony Orchestra. Originally a church, the beautiful Lyndhurst Hall was turned into a studio facility by Sir George Martin in the early 1990s.
Wow.
This superb recording environment has exceptional acoustics, natural light, and breathtaking architectural features.
What an amazing place. Well, let me start first before by saying this was a really brand new thing for me, composing classical music like this. So the whole process for me was a learning curve.
It's a very unusual musical brief. Not only is it challenging in terms of how it should sound, but how the whole thing's going to be performed as well, because it's unique. It's not the kind of project that comes along to a musical team every day.
To one, work with the London Symphony Orchestra, two, to work at Air Studios. It was just an amazing chance, you know, and so we're just really, really excited and nervous and every other emotion you could possibly imagine. Yes. I'm a musician, you know, and I think this is a dream of a lot of people like me.
Fantastic acoustics, one of the best orchestras in the world. Most of the top film scores and soundtracks have been recorded here, from the recent Bond scores, Pirates of the Caribbean, Gladiator, etc., etc. This is it, the pinnacle.
It's a fantastically big orchestra, 80-piece orchestra, world-class players. So in many ways, you know, they know exactly what the job is. They've been there before, so I'm sort of just looking forward to the afternoon and having a really great time.
And many great talents are needed to answer Matt's question.
The question was, how do we find a way of actually creating an orchestra of cars?
Getting 12 cars to play the music was an interesting thought, and at first, you know, both Chesley and I were wondering, you know, is this going to sound any good, and how are we going to do it?
Well, this actually does present quite a challenge to us, because we need to be able to pinpoint certain sections of the orchestras and even certain players and bring them forward in the mix and have them coming out of separate parts of the car, and that involves putting out lots of microphones in different perspectives, some quite close to the musicians, some quite far away, and then we give everything to our composers. They've got the fairly unenviable job of going and sifting through all of this and making it into a usable recording.
The one thing you can't recreate with samples very well at all are strings, and when you've got the wonderful LSO and 60 string players, that's magical. So that's why this is going to sound so much better than what we can recreate in our own little home studios. So looking forward to getting back and putting it all together.
We're going to start this afternoon with a piece called Lexus 1.
With only 3 hours to record the scores, speed and skill is paramount.
When the orchestra first came in, Alistair, the conductor, says a few words of introduction, lifts his baton, everyone focuses on their score in front of them, taps the baton, and suddenly the music is played out perfectly first time. Absolutely amazing experience. In Summon the Hero, my favourite piece is the very beginning. It has an attention-grabbing confidence to it. It makes you sit, listen, pay attention to it without blasting you. And I really like pieces of music that do that.
I have so many different parts of both of these pieces that I really like. It's really hard to choose, but if I had to choose one moment, it would probably be the crescendo at the end of Summon the Hero. It's just so beautiful, and it gets me every time. It's got an amazing kind of just emotional rise into, just gets to the hair on the back of your neck. And it's all Chris. I can't take any credit for that.
Not all me, I mean, yeah. But I have to say a big thank you to Alistair King, our orchestrator, who just, you know, took the theme and lifted it to another level with some of the counter melodies he did with what the French horns are doing, and the rest of the movements in the background just really elevated it to a fantastic level, and yeah, gets me every time as well.
In the second piece, Karma Nirvana, my favourite element of that is a little segment where it changes time signature. into a few bars of 5/4 time, and it's played on a marimba, and there's a cheeky little quote of Take 5 by Dave Brubeck in there. I think that's a lovely little touch. It's the kind of thing that I really like.
There's so many interesting changes, especially in the second piece, you know, Carmen Ivana, and which just goes all over the place, and it's great. There's so many key changes. There's so many.
I've never changed key that much.
Yeah,
ever.
But no, and I wouldn't have normally done it, but I think it worked out really well.
It is a triumphant end to an exhausting day. Instruments and voices are successfully recorded. Chris and Chesney will leave Air Studios with 60 audio tracks. The tracks need to be sifted through, edited and split into several parts, ready for the first rehearsals with the Orchestra of Cars.
We'll take away all of the files that we've recorded here, take them back to Chris's studio, and work out exactly what instrumentation from the orchestra that we've recorded goes into which cars.
So we're going to have cars in a hangar somewhere at our disposal. We're going to have to just literally, you know, trial and error just to see what works. Whether we actually stick to the traditional orchestral layout of the violins on the left, basses on the right, or whether it might sound better by actually changing that. We won't know until we actually do it. So it's all up in the air.
We don't really know what we're going to do yet.